Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Mrs. Mummy PhD podcast. I am your host, Michelle Gibbs, and I am passionate about helping scholarly mamas like you navigate your journeys with purpose so you can achieve your life and academic goals without sacrificing what matters. The reality is that scholarly mama life is multidimensional. We're scholars, yes, but we're also mothers, wives, and so much more with whole lives outside of academia. So how do we successfully navigate all this? Well, first, we need the space to embrace this unique blend. Only then can we begin the important work of becoming purposefully whole. And part of my own purposeful work is to create a space for us as scholarly mamas to grow, to reflect, and to become everything that we were meant to be. So, mama, are you in? Fabulous. Let's begin. These are our journeys of becoming. Hey mamas, welcome back to the podcast. Today's a really special day for this podcast because it's the first time we're having a guest on the show, and I wouldn't have it any other way but to have my most wonderful, amazing, handsome, all the other good stuff, husband on the show. And I'm so happy that he is our first actual guest on the show.
Yay.
And we thought that because, we've recently celebrated our 17th wedding anniversary, and we thought this would be a nice month to actually share a podcast experience together. We've been doing lots of other things this month, as you would have seen on Instagram. We have been ziplining.
Yeah.
Right?
That was something.
Yeah, if we could do that, we could do this, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Okay, so welcome to the podcast, my love.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you for listening. And hopefully you'll find that you can enjoy this episode of us having a conversation about a very interesting topic. And we have these conversations quite regularly. But this is the first time we ever kind of bring you into our world and then you have a fly on the wall view of our chats and discussions. So buckle up. Hopefully you guys can enjoy our golden nuggets.
Cool. So what we're going to talk about today are the 5 best kept secrets for thriving in marriage as a Black couple. And like I said, because this is our anniversary month, we thought this would be a really nice topic to share and talk about together. So before we dive in, let's begin by making 2 really important statements. The first is that your love journey as a Black couple isn't just worthy of celebration on special events or Valentine's Days or wedding anniversaries or any other calendar highlights. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that thriving in marriage requires a daily commitment to your union. So by continuously working towards the best version of yourself, of both of you individually and also jointly, you need to do that by putting in the necessary work. And I think that's something we'll talk a little bit more about as we go through the episode. So like I said, I'm bringing in backup for this one. Yes, I'm soliciting help from my amazing high school sweetheart turned husband for this episode. And together we want to let you in on the 5 best kept secrets for thriving in marriage as a Black couple. The docuseries Black Love has been showcasing the unique experiences of Black couples for quite some time. It's allowed the world to see and celebrate the beauty of love and marriage within the Black community. And it's so wonderful to see as a Black married couple ourselves. So long may that continue. So that takes us nicely onto our own love story. And, as a unique Black couple ourselves, we are a millennial Black couple with a unique love story. We were high school sweethearts and have been together ever since. As such, we hope that what we share from our 27 plus years of experience will be useful for you. So if you're married and listening to this, please feel free to share with your spouse or any other couples you know. Maybe you're single, looking for true love, and daydreaming about it happening for you one day. If you're losing faith in what love looks like nowadays, hopefully we can offer you a glimmer of hope. Given the stereotypes that exist around Black marriage, we hope that this episode will restore your sense of joy and faith in the possibility of true love. We know it exists because we are indeed a living testimony of it. So both coming from families plagued by divorce, we didn't have great examples of successful Black marriages to emulate. So the secrets that we share in this episode come 100% from our lived experience in marriage so far. May our love story inspire you to write yours. So, Hun, do you want to talk a little bit about how we met and where we met and just, spill the tea a little
How
bit?
How much time are we doing? Because we could do a whole series on this, but long story short, really, we've known each other for 27 years and we've been married for 17 of those. And we met for the first time in secondary school when we first went to secondary school in Barbados. It was our first year, and fortunate for me, we were in the same class, and it was an instant crush for me. The first person I had a crush on at secondary school, and it's grown into a love, and we've been together ever since. We've been through studying abroad in America on scholarships, and then getting married and taking a big leap of faith together to move to the United Kingdom. And now we have a very active family of 3 boys who keep us extremely busy, and you wouldn't ask for anything else. And now we are here able to share this story of 17 years marriage, of tips that we found were helpful for us that others can also help thrive for their marriage as well.
Yeah. And, our real hope is that the person listening to this episode will at least be able to take one thing away from our journey and apply it to their own marriage and their own situation. And so, to you lovely listeners, we hope it will help you to write your own beautiful love story. And by the way, if you're new around here, it's lovely to have you. Thanks for stopping by. But you can also check out mrsmummyphd.com and follow on Instagram at mrsmummyphd. And so, let's get into it. So what would you, if you had to give someone 5 key tips for how to thrive in marriage as a Black couple, what would your first one be?
I think when you think about the main thing, it has to be trust, doesn't it? Because at the end of the day, it's a very important ingredient in a successful marriage, relationship. Trust is the successful part of that. And us as a married couple, that's one of the big things I think that we've always had. I trust you 100% with any decisions. So if tomorrow, if I was unable to make a decision for myself, I know you know exactly how I would think, what I would want, and I would hope you would feel the same thing about me.
Of course. I think, trust is literally the most important ingredient for a successful marriage in our opinion. And obviously it's the reason why you've probably suggested it as the first thing, because, if you can't trust your spouse or your partner, then what's the point? Like the party's over before it's even begun, really.
It's like if you always kind of check in to see what's going on or finding yourself doubting, then you're always going to make in your mind different stories about what could be happening when it's far from the truth.
That's so true. So true. And so for us, trust isn't just about the absence of infidelity, although we know from studies that we've come across online that infidelity is actually a real challenge for lots of Black couples.
I think it's a concerning statistic, isn't it? I think it's like almost 30% or 20%, is it? I think 20% of those, I think there was a survey that they did of Black couples in America, and it was like 22% that were married had some kind of affair or something like that.
Yeah. And 28% of Black men reported having sex with someone other than their spouse. So we can easily understand how infidelity can be problematic in Black marriages. And there was a professor in America, a professor of social work at the University of Louisville called Dr. Armand Perry. And in his article, he shared the research findings from talking to a variety of Black men about their love lives. And This and the previous research that we talked about showed that the typical image of Black men's love lives is often skewed by this sense of hypersexual masculinity to overcompensate for their ability to fulfill the traditional breadwinner role, and suggesting that Black men are more likely to treat women as conquests rather than partners, according to Dr. Perry. My goodness, like no wonder Black couples are thinking, oh my goodness, this is never going to happen for me.
Yeah.
If this is the image of Black love, you know, what hope is there for building a successful marriage, right?
It's a challenge from the start, isn't it?
Yeah. So for us, trust, though, is more than just the absence or the concern about infidelity. Trust, it's a security that your spouse is fully committed to a true partnership and that you can have a connection that goes so much deeper than just monogamy. It's a knowledge that your spouse's love for you will never allow them to hurt you intentionally, and they want to see you blossom as both an individual and as a valuable partner within the relationship. So now let's talk a little bit about what trust looks like in our marriage, because some people may be wondering, what does trust look like from a practical point of view, and how does that manifest in our marriage? So obviously, one of the key things about trust, we've talked about infidelity and how that is problematic in a lot of Black marriages. But for us, trust, I feel, goes even deeper than just a concern or worry about infidelity. I feel like trust for us is on the level of, you know, really deeply connecting with someone to the point where you know without a shadow of a doubt that that person has your best interests at heart.
Yeah.
Of course, like working as a team is a significant part of that. Would you agree?
Yeah, that's a pretty big thing, isn't it, for us? Like we just have that team, as you like to tell the boys, together. Everyone achieves more mentality.
Yeah.
In terms of everything.
Yeah. 100%. I think that, you know, even, I mean, it may seem kind of simple and mundane, but even, you know, just something as simple as working together to get everybody out the house in the morning, or even recently when I was so unwell and I had this stomach bug, awful stomach bug. I'll spare you the details.
That was terrible. That was
pretty bad. But even like something like that, I feel we know like the other person has our back. We know the other person is there to share the experience with us, to go through it with us, to pick up the slack where needed.
Exactly. Yeah. So we know what the goal is. So in the mornings, it's get everyone safely out the door in time.
Yeah.
When you were unwell, obviously we were down one person, but you knew while you were lying down in bed that the boys, they were going to have a nutritious breakfast. They were going to still get their bags packed. They were still going to be clean and tidy and ready for go. And then when I came back to check on you, you know, you didn't have to worry. Everybody was at school and nursery safely, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's the same as when you were doing your PhD and submitting. It was, you know, you kind of went through a real serious...
It was an intense few weeks,
yeah, it was.
say. Yeah, it
definitely.
was. It was an intense few weeks. And actually... you know, just talking a little bit about that experience and the fact that I didn't have much annual leave from work. So I was, you know, working and trying to write my thesis at night in the evenings. And that was really hard going. And there were some times where, and I like to talk about this idea of being flexibly focused. So there were times where I did have to really just zoom in on that and focus and try and get it done on time. And during those times, I had all faith and confidence that you were looking after the boys. I didn't have to think about them and, you know, sorting their meals out, keeping the house going, keeping the house standing.
Yeah, exactly.
You
the same
kind
as
of
me,
did all that. Yeah.
Because I was unwell 2 weeks before you were unwell. And then it was
the other way around.
Exactly. Then I was the one on bed, just like, no.
Yeah.
As we men we can get very poorly in sense of
so poorly.
You know, just wasn't sure how I was going to make it.
Yeah.
But I knew my boys were fine and you were good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that partnership, that sense of team building, or not team building, that sense of team, is just how we have always been. And before the boys were here, we
It was
had
the same.
goals.
Yeah.
Now the boys are here. They kind of know that if they ask mommy for something, mommy says no, and they go to daddy, daddy's going to say no too, because mommy and I have
one page.
One page, exactly.
Yeah.
So don't try that one. We're not divide and conquer here.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, just making sure that having each other's back is a non-negotiable, and that we can lean into that so wholeheartedly and so fully, because we can fully believe that that person is 100% with us, and we are in this journey together through the ups, the downs, the successes, the failures. We are there for each other no matter what. And I think that is a key component of trust, you know? And then just being completely honest and vulnerable. Like, let's talk about vulnerability for a little bit. What do you think about that as it relates to trust?
Yeah, I think if we are not, I think we watched or we read or something that we talked about the vulnerability of, or was it one of our friends that talked about that sense of being vulnerable?
Yeah.
Just helps in a marriage where you feel that you can be unapologetically yourself, whether you're upset in a sad way, upset in an angry way, or just not feeling yourself. You can just be like, I'm really not feeling that or that, and the person just knows that, well, something's not right.
Yeah.
Something's just not right. Like I can always tell if you're not 100% feeling like something's on your mind or something like that, and then I'll probe a bit, and then I'll finally get out, like, either you were chatting to family back home and you're either feeling a bit homesick, or you're a bit worried about the thesis, or if it's just trying to, as you like to call it, the juggle struggle, is just starting to make you just consider, okay, what's my goal? Or you're just really, like you said, very focused on what your task is. And I think as a Afro-Caribbean man or black man, depending on how you want to call us, we've never been told that vulnerability could be in itself a superpower for a relationship. You're kind of told the opposite, isn't it? You're told that if you show that vulnerability, you look weak. Instead, you must be put on a strong friend. Our late friend, he died, and he was a big advocate for being very open about his feelings.
He really was.
He was the one that kind of made us think about counseling after his death and trying to seek some kind of therapy in that sense, because we were mourning him so much. And he always said that one of the things that he has felt is with his depression, which he finally got diagnosed, is that he never felt he could be like show that, because that was against the kind of grain of society and the culture that we grew up in.
It was. I think we talk about him all the time because he was such an integral part of our lives, and we all got each other. Like, he was your best friend, but he was my brother, he's my and we kind of we really got each other on such a deep level, in the sense that we all believe that vulnerability was a superpower, that being able to genuinely trust the people that you spend your time with, that you can be yourself without judgment, that you can just be honest and vulnerable and acknowledge your flaws and seek counsel where needed and that sort of thing. And I think those are the things, those are the components that obviously strengthen friendships, but they strengthen your marriage as well, because
100%.
if you can't be yourself with your spouse, who on earth can you be yourself with, right? It's kind of like, it's a given. Like, you have to be able to be yourself. And so thinking about trusting each other, and in terms of, we talked a little bit about time earlier in terms of teamwork and how we want to spend our time. Sometimes we've got to focus in particular areas. Sometimes we could be more flexible in certain areas, and just having a partner who understands that there are certain times where I've got to actually really focus and zoom in, and there are other times where I'm going to be much more flexible and relaxed and just working. Obviously, you've got your own schedule, your own work, your own commitments as well, and just us working together around those and just being open and honest about that. And then thinking about, you mentioned the word partnership earlier, and believing in the power of our partnership. I think that what we have is just so special. And to be able to be united as one, which our boys have learned the hard way when they try to divide and conquer, but to be united as one is just like, it's just such a special gift, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I think, like you said, the partnership is, we realize, again, when you think about in all aspects of life, there's a sense that you can thrive better when you know that you have someone who has your back, like you were saying.
Yeah.
That the partnership is founded on a very simple principle that I've got your back, you got my back. This is the goal that we want to achieve.
Yeah.
We both want to succeed. So your success is my success. And if we both are succeeding, or even if one of us is succeeding, we both will have success.
Yeah.
And I think with that partnership is that sense of not being selfish, not being jealous, and not having a sense of envy. If we are, the focus of the partnership is trying to have a success story from either one of us.
Yeah. So we can all, like, we've got our own goals and they're separate. We've got a shared vision, but we've got separate goals, and we support each other through the journey towards making those goals reality. And I think that is part of, like you said, that partnership. And also one of the things that I think is so important when it comes to trust in marriage and thriving in marriage is knowing that that person will never intentionally hurt you.
Yeah.
And you can actually almost give them your heart and know it will be safe. Know that this is a safe space that you can just be completely involved in and connected in, and just feel that sense of companionship and deep love. And I think
that's hard, isn't it? Because if depending on your life history and experiences that you have, that may be hard to let go of, like, your heart and to give it to someone when you don't know. I give an example of our oldest. He's very proud of his Legos, isn't he?
Our oldest son,
he's very protective of his Legos, and it takes him a very long time to let his younger brothers close to those prized possessions. But he's getting better at it, because I think he's starting to learn that if I just give him a chance to try. So the middle one and him play with Legos quite a bit, or Lego, as he told me. There's no S in Legos for the plural. So lesson for all you there is Lego is the plural and singular of Lego. So when you play with them, or when he plays with them, and his younger brother, our middle son rather, he goes in to play with him, you can see that there's a sense of anxiety about, is he going to break it? But they've started to play a lot better now, because he's learnt from his previous experience that his brother doesn't intend to break them. It may be accidental. And he's also taught him how to look after his Lego. So when I think of that story, I think of, well, this is a lesson about how we treat our heart, isn't it? Like, if you're in a relationship with someone and you find it hard to let go of your heart and give them your all and to be vulnerable, is almost like giving that little bit and see how they are. Tell them how you would like your vulnerability, your heart to be treated. And if they try their best to do it, then they're obviously intending to not harm you. They just want to be with you and to make you happy.
I love that, because that speaks to me in two ways. So the first is that it's saying that, you know what, you can have your standards. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying, actually, this is what I expect in my relationship, and this is how I want to be loved, right? And, you know, and that person gets to make their choice as to whether they can love you in that way, and that helps to build the trust, because if they are able to love you in the way that you want to be loved, then you have a sense of, you know what, I actually can trust my heart with this person. But then the other thing as well is that the importance of shared experiences and going through things and seeing how people respond to certain situations, seeing how people interact with other people in your presence, or interact with you in other people's presence, or just how they, you know, whether they show you that respect. And I think those are all the components that help to build trust. You cannot really build trust without experience. I think time and experience you need in a relationship to almost test the waters and see, actually, can I trust this person? Can I give this person my heart and believe that it will be safe?
Yeah.
And I think that's what we had, because we've had such a long relationship. And I feel like we've had so many times where time and time again, we've proven and shown each other that, yeah, my heart is safe with this person. I love them unconditionally and they love me back unconditionally.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I don't need to worry whether my heart is safe or not. I know it's safe. So I guess what we're trying to say in all of this is that this is what trust looks like for us in our marriage, right?
Yeah, it's just very intentional.
Very intentional. Trust gives us an irreplaceable sense of security in our union, and without it, building a healthy marriage would just be impossible.
Yeah, it'd be difficult.
Marriage is our safe place. Like it's a safe place where we both can coexist, and it's our safe space that we can lean in fully, hold tight, and simply love fearlessly. Okay, so moving on to our next tip, what would you say is another secret to thriving in marriage?
It will have to be communication. Would probably be the next one in the top two. Yeah, top two we're doing. So I would say communication would be the next big key to a successful marriage for us.
Why would you say that?
Because again, if you haven't trust, then you have to be able to communicate to some degree what exactly you're hoping for. It would have to be a sense of communicating what your goals are, communicating how you feel. As I said, if you're being vulnerable, you have to be able to feel that you can communicate that feeling, whether it be in body language, whether or not it is in speech, whether or not it is in, I don't know, it's just so many ways that communication has to be one of the top reasons why marriages are successful.
Yeah. And also probably the top reason why, lack thereof could be a top reason why lots of marriages fail, because people they don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
And we know this because we're from Barbados. We know what it's like there, talking about emotions and feelings and stuff is not necessarily
it's a bit taboo, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say that. And thankfully, yes, there are some exceptions to the rule, but it's not uncommon in Caribbean families for these big issues to be left swept under the carpet in favor of just keeping the peace. We've heard that before, just keeping the peace. Maybe with the millennial generations, that's beginning to change a little bit, and people are moving towards more openness and acceptance and being able to share how they feel. But for the most part, growing up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, you didn't really talk about that deep stuff.
No, that was kind of unheard of. And I think I mentioned it in the last point. It's like, especially for males, there is a kind of weakness to speaking to how you feel, communicating stuff that upsets you, and opening up.
Yeah.
That requires you to be able to talk about things. And if your listeners have kids, they probably are familiar with like Disney and the movies. And there's one movie that we had loved at the time where it came out was Encanto, and I think it was the song We Don't Talk About Bruno, and that just brought up a kind of interesting dialogue between you and I about how the family just didn't want to talk about the bad stories or the difficulties they had with Bruno, and instead Bruno was kind of ostracized from the family, and he was left to be alone. And then eventually, sorry for those who haven't watched it, just kind of did a bit of a spoiler there for you. He then comes back to the family, and it just feels like all of that could be solved by just talking about it, and then find out, well, actually, was Bruno really in the wrong for having these powers that would have made people uncomfortable? And we, growing up, whether or not we had the best examples of communication is difficult, because sadly we both grew up with divorced parents, which would have meant that something along the line of their marriages, there would have been a breakup of communication or some other reasons.
I think one of the benefits of being high school sweethearts, because obviously we were together from quite young, one of the benefits of that is that we spent a lot of time talking. Like we spent a lot of time talking.
Even with restricted telephone times, and there was no texting, there was no cell phones, no mobile WhatsApp. Phones, no WhatsApp. I think later on, that's when MSN Messenger came in, and that's when we used to be able to talk via that. But most of the time it was talking, like you said, at school, on the phone, even letters. I think we even used to write a few letters to each other and give to each other after school and stuff like that. But
so we had many opportunities and to have deep conversations. And obviously over the years, those conversations changed and became deeper and deeper. And now as a married couple, we get to enjoy those deep and intimate conversations still. And, I think it was those talking years that allowed us to build such a strong foundation of open communication in love. Yeah. And it's also helped us to build a marriage that really values that.
I think so. I think that was helpful. I think not saying that that's the only way to have a successful marriage. It worked great for us because, like I said, we had to work deep in our relationship in terms of trust, in terms of just learning as we go about each other and about ourselves. Because, as I said, they're not a gazillion examples. I think back then there was no YouTube. There was no, Googling, what are the things you should do to be a great boyfriend, to be a good fiance. There was none of that. No. It was very much, we talked about each other's dreams and each other's ambitions, and then we listened. I think that's probably something that neither of us has said, but that's probably at the heart of communication. You got to be a good listener.
Yeah.
Because if you talk a lot and you never hear what the other person's saying, you never actually get the two-way aspect of communication, do you?
So true. I definitely would agree with that, and I think that we have gotten better over the years at our kind of quality of communication. And you've always been a good listener, I think, though. I think you definitely got that down packed.
Yeah, I'm not probably the best of talker. That's why I think I've listened more than I talk. I'm more of a listener.
You are a good listener.
And you're a good talker.
So, match made in heaven.
That's why I don't have a podcast.
Match made in heaven. So I kind of just think that we've challenged that cultural norm and committed ourselves to openness and honesty in our marriage. And through regular, deep, intimate conversations, it's just made the whole experience more fulfilling for us than any of the examples that we had growing up. So we did that. We created this safe space for ourselves, and we made sure that we always felt able to share with honesty and openness how we felt. So beyond even the spoken word, we've learned that effective communication in marriage goes beyond that spoken language. And non-verbal communication also matters just as much as verbal communication, especially when communicating your love for each other is a priority for you. Yeah. So it's a subtle messages sent, to each other through touch and affection. I think that you are actually, I must say, really, really so good at this aspect of communication. You always send me amazing messages during the day and just light my world up. The little I love you random text messages during the day, and just being intentional with making time to deeply connect. I think it's those simple but thoughtful gestures that make me feel loved and appreciated. And
do you find that that's happening more since we have either aged in the sense of we're now more mature, or that we've had the recent loss of a very close friend and we just feel like these little nuggets of communication, just constantly send gentle reminders that someone's thinking of you, or almost leaving little breadcrumbs of memories?
I think that we have always been good at this. It's particularly you, I think. You've always been the one to send me these little messages and, these little thoughtful things, whether it be just, making breakfast the way I like it, or just, I've probably been the one writing more of the letters and notes, leaving you little notes and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think like you're right that as we get older and we, I guess, recognize the reality of aging and mortality and losing people, that we kind of are even more intentional about making sure that the other person knows and remembers, even in those little moments and even through those little gestures, that they're loved and cared for, I think.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think that's definitely me personally. I think I'm definitely making more of an effort as well. Even with our oldest son, who's now got a mobile phone now, every now and then we would send him a little message, especially if we know he's about to have a test, or he was a bit anxious going to school or anything. We send a little message just saying, I hope you're having a good day.
Yeah.
Let us know how you're doing. Just letting that person know that you're thinking about them.
Yeah, and I think even as you talk about our eldest and the fact that we do that for him, I've noticed that he started doing it back at us as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. When you were sick, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. When you weren't feeling well, he was sending texts. Mummy, are you feeling better?
Yeah.
Or have you been able to eat anything? And that was very thoughtful of him to just remember.
At his
actually,
break time.
Exactly, during the break time at school, he had the thought to just say, you know what, let me just check in with Mummy, because I know Mummy's at home. Everybody's at school, Daddy's at work, and he just thought, oh, I'll just check in on Mummy, which is good. Again, we're almost trying to create these memories for our children as examples, because as I said, we didn't always have the best examples. No fault to any of our parents or things. It's just circumstances, upbringing, culture that just kind of made things probably difficult for them as well, to show what we consider to be an ideal environment for a good marriage.
Yeah.
And I think for us, if we feel that we have something good, again, they know if things aren't going well, but again, we apologize if we raised our voice or we didn't have a great day because we're stressed out. We apologize and say, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
And again, that's another part of communication that we haven't really touched on there. It's just that element of just not only saying the I love yous and whatnot, but also communicating when you actually feel that you've done something to upset
but you've
the other
not
person.
Communicated well.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally agree. So I guess the next one for me in terms of top tips for thriving in marriage is probably one of the most important ones. And I think that it's one that's easily overlooked. And that is to just have fun, just enjoy each other and
definitely
laugh a lot. As the academic, studious girl in high school, it was so refreshing to be with someone who was equally as intelligent and academically able as you were. So let's not pretend that you were not super, super smart too.
Thank you.
But who balanced this really, really well with sport and fun and just a really charming sense of humor. And that is you. Like, you embody all of those things.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably one of the things that I am grateful that we balance each other out, because I think though I like to be a bit silly and with the boys and yourself, and probably out of the two of us, I'm definitely the more silly of the two. It's not to take away from the fact that I've learned quite a lot about how to take some things more seriously and be a bit more organized and stuff.
Yeah.
But definitely I think we have learned to do a lot more fun stuff. Yeah.
You and your spouse really should bring out the best in each other. So try not to always take yourself too seriously. My husband helps me to see the importance of not doing that. And, you know, he's taught me the value of infusing a huge pinch of fun and laughter into life. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think we have started to gain more from each other's habits. I've definitely been a lot more organized in certain aspects of our life, and I think you've definitely become a lot more relaxed and a lot more fun, especially having 3 boys. I think you have to have a bit of give when it comes to the kind of stuff they come up with to do for fun. You know, when they play, it's probably a lot more rough and tumbling than you're used to. And
I think just being parents has probably brought out that fun side even more, like you said. Yeah.
Just being a bit silly, even if it's funky dancing with our toddler, just having a bit of fun. Little tickles and giggles, a bit of banter that we would have, or inside jokes that we might have where we look at each other and we're like, yeah, I know exactly what she's thinking.
Yeah.
Or when the boys are in bed, we'll go and watch a rom-com or a little comedy or something, just have a
good laugh.
Have a little laugh.
Like you said, having kids certainly brings out that fun side as well, because it's never a dull moment with these boys.
No,
so
definitely not.
We literally got together and published a whole 3 books on creativity.
Yeah, exactly. That was birth from just a whole lockdown time and just having a lot more time to kind of internally find things for not only us but the boys to do for fun and creativity. And that was a fun family project.
It definitely was.
Just the whole process of it, wasn't it?
It definitely was. And talking about fun, you know, obviously we recently did the zip line.
Oh yeah.
And that definitely took us out of our comfort zones, didn't it?
Massively. And I think we were happy we did it, but going on to that, like the whole build up from going signing the waivers, then getting fitted with all the kit,
watching the video,
driving up to the top of the hill,
climbing up the stairs.
And then the couple in front of us, the lady was very, not sure what the right word is. She
overcome with fear.
Yeah, that was probably, I was trying to be nice and as politically correct as I could be, but yeah, she was not having it, wasn't she?
No.
The guy was already lying down ready, and she didn't even get to.
She didn't even lie down, I don't think.
No,
did
she wasn't having that. No. And I think that didn't help. That didn't help us because we already built up that anxiety about it, and then watching her get very upset. Well, not upset. That's probably not right. She didn't cry or anything. She's just clearly very shaken.
Yeah.
And then it was kind of our turn. Kind of abruptly because she was like, oh,
they had to take her off.
And we're like, okay, this is us. And I think just as we were about to drop and go down the zip line, I think I was starting to get a bit fearful, but then you started to take deep breaths and just realize actually I'm quite connected and snug in this thing.
Yeah.
And
we haven't heard of any deaths from said apparatus.
I didn't look up any. We talked to the instructor, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I do this all the time." I'm like, oh, okay.
Because I think you even made a joke with her, so we're like, "Oh, do you go down this way for lunch then?"
Yeah, exactly. And she said, "Oh yeah, I've done so many times." And yeah, I think that initial bit of falling and then feeling yourself being snug and being glided down, was quite refreshing and freeing for me, because then I was no longer afraid. I really just enjoyed it. It was just short.
Yeah. One of my cousins said to me when she watched the video, she said for her, she saw the transformation in the skies from fear to like a sense of freedom and fun. And I didn't even think about it like that until she said it. And I'm thinking, actually, you're right. Like on so many levels, we started off in this state of fear and stepping out of our comfort zone. And then as we, obviously for most of the first bit, I kept my eyes closed because I was so scared. I just couldn't bear to open them. And then by the end of it, I was actually smiling and happy and just feeling so proud and accomplished that I'd actually done it.
I think that's a good way of saying it. It's just a transition for us, even though it was just a blink, like 1 minute. I think the preparation, the build up, everything probably lasted almost 15 minutes. And then the actual activity itself was just like a minute. But within that minute, thankfully, we have the footage to just be able to remember it.
Yeah.
But then like you said, you can generally feel, and I probably didn't realize that that's what I was explaining, is that transition of fear to comfort to enjoyment to fulfillment. Or if that's the right ways. But that would probably be a good summary of what it was for us.
Transformation in disguise.
Yeah, that was something that, it was really good to have that time with you as my partner and as my closest person to do something like that I never thought I would have done, because I'm not not big on roller coasters. So whenever we go to the theme park, I'm quite happy to have young kids, because the expectation right now is that we just supervise them on the small rides, or we go with them on the little rides. Don't know what we do when they're older and they then want to do the big stuff. And I'll be like, not so much. But the zip line was a highlight for me, for us to have that as a core memory of us conquering some fears.
Yeah, for sure.
I actually do remember when we did the roller coaster when we were teenagers, and it was like a fun fear that came up in Barbados.
Yeah, Coney Island, I think.
Well, that's what we call it. It's nothing like Coney Island in New York. It was just like a pop-up fun fair where they had the usual rides, and this one ride that we decided to go on. Your boy knew it was going to be a problem, but you want to impress your girl at the time, and you think, oh yeah, I can do this. I can definitely do it. It was if you can imagine a pirate ship that rocks like a pendulum. And we went on that, and we probably sat, I don't think we sat to the ones that are at the top, but we sat somewhere that...
You mean not the back rows?
Yeah, not the back rows that go the highest.
Yeah.
But after that, I had to just find the nearest corner behind, I don't know, a generator or something, and just, it wasn't pretty.
Let it out.
Let it out, and that was, so embarrassing. Just thinking, oh, here I was on this little date at this fun fair, and completely... Well, at least I don't think it was the first ride, but it's definitely like, oh, I didn't feel much better after that.
No.
And I don't think we've done many extreme roller coasters either here in the UK, or like Six Flags and those kind of places.
In America.
And in like America and New York.
So, I definitely agree. I think that as a Black couple, we believe that our marriage should be a fun-filled journey for both of us. And more importantly, we have learned that we have to co-construct that. We have to make that our reality, and that our happiness is homemade. And to be fair, there's nothing more attractive than a spouse who puts a smile on your face every day, and nothing more knee weakening than knowing that you do exactly the same for them. That you put a smile on their face every single day.
Yeah.
Well, Mama, that's the end of the first part of this 2-part series where my husband Kevin and I have been sharing our best kept secrets for thriving in marriage as a Black couple. We hope that you found it helpful, insightful, inspiring, encouraging for you to thrive in your own relationships. And if you want to tune into part 2, be sure to listen in next week, because our next episode will be the second half of our chat around our best kept secrets for thriving in marriage as a Black couple. So until next time, I'm sending you lots of love and gratitude. Take care. See you in the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Mrs. Mummy PhD podcast. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and if you did and you want in on this movement, why not head over to mrsmummyphd.com. You can join the waitlist for our exclusive community of smart, purposeful, scholarly mamas. We'd love to see you on the inside. Remember, Mama, these are our journeys of becoming.